It is Wednesday at 3 o'clock, which means it is time to film an episode of Bloomington Buddies. Today's episode is going to be a little bit shorter. I do have a thing I got to run to. It's probably going to be like 40 minutes max. But we're still going to get to everything. 3 topics today are MLB playoffs, college basketball preseason poll, which I'm excited to talk about, and, of course, NFL picks. Obviously, that's the main point of the show. Please welcome Best of the Business, Bruce Jackson.
How's it going?
So, let's talk about what we got going in the MLB playoffs, because Philly took care of business against the Braves like I thought they would. They ripped Atlanta to shreds at the bank.
Yeah, I thought Atlanta was going to be able to, make that kind of a comeback after that Game 2 win, after walking it off on that double play. I was very wrong. Oh, my God. That was crazy how much they just absolutely stomped them.
Dude, I normally don't have many problems with Braves fans. They're not like Yankees fans when it comes to complaining. So, but
you gotta admit, I'm a pretty tame Yankee fan.
Jackson, I will say that.
I'm a good Yankee fan, I would say.
Jackson is actually a very good Yankees fan. I just do that and to just kind of poke fun. Oh my God, the crying that Braves fans have been doing. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
I was shocked.
Oh my God.
Not just from the players.
The bye hurts us. Oh, we shouldn't have gotten the bye. Oh, well, because I don't know if y'all. So first it was it's unfair that we have a bye. I saw a funny stat. The year the Braves made the World Series, when they didn't have the bye, they had 4 days rest before their first game. You don't know how many days rest they had before their first game this year? 5.
I didn't understand it because, from the fans' perspective, I can kind of understand if fans will make a lot of excuses. I've made a lot of excuses for teams in the past. But it was also just the players as well, because they were blaming the media.
Oh, yeah. This is
all
also
of the
funny.
Braves.
So if y'all don't know what Jackson's talking about, apparently, after Orlando Arcia doubled off Harper in Game 2, people were saying that, in the dugout, he was like, tough shit, Harper, or I don't know. Something to that extent.
He said, thanks a lot, Harper, or something like that for making the stupid base running mistake.
Something to that extent. And basically, somebody in the media that was, in the locker room said that he said that. And then so Harper takes that shit to heart, goes off in games 3 and 4. I think he hit 3 home runs in those 2 games.
The epitome of the Jordan meme, and I took that personally.
And he's staring daggers at RCS. And I'm like, this is awesome, bro. I'm like, this is awesome. They're like, well, that's not actually what he meant, and you're giving them extra motivation because of something that he didn't even mean. And oh my God. Get him out! Just get him out! I'm sorry that your pitching sucks. This is why I said they wouldn't make the World Series.
I was shocked at how bad Strider was pitching.
Because it's not even just Strider though. Bryce Elder, that dude's garbage. He's a gas can. He cannot get an out. Okay, yeah, maybe Harper got a little turned up because who cares, dude? That's not the reason you lost. You got completely outmatched and just you got crushed at the bank. That's do better. Own up to the fact that you weren't good enough. Quit trying to. The crying has just been ridiculous from Braves fans.
The way that the Braves were tackling. The way that they were tackling the situation in game, I think it was 3 or 4 or whatever it was. Azuna is turning to the crowd and he's doing this to the Philadelphia crowd, and he's trying to taunt them and everything. It's what are you doing, dude? Be a professional. Grow up about it. What are we doing?
The Philly fans damn near brought Orlando Arcia to tears. Did you see that clip?
No.
There's a clip of Philly fans heckling Orlando Arcia, and he just turns around and just starts yelling at him.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He's
everyone in the Braves dugout.
He looked like he was about to cry. I'm not even kidding.
Everyone in the Braves dugout was just I don't want to say that they weren't being professional about it, but I also don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. I don't know what other way to put it, because it was just childish what they were doing in the dugout. All their focus was on the fans rather than the game. And it's what are we doing? You're supposed to be the #1 team in baseball right now. Like, you're supposed to be the unquestionable world champions right now, and none of them are acting like it. It was crazy.
Yeah. And Philly has taken that momentum into the NLCS and has taken both games from the D-backs at home. The D-backs ended up beating, I don't know if the D-backs had beaten the Dodgers yet the last time we recorded, but they did beat the Dodgers.
At this point, it's their playoff to lose. It's crazy. Like,
The D-backs need to win. They need to win game 3 is a must win. They got to win game 3.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, what's it called? So people in my baseball club, shout out Basque, we're talking about how like, never mind. I'm thinking of a different series. Anyway, D-backs need to get their stuff together, or else Philly is riding to another World Series. On the AL side, the Texas Rangers have still yet to lose a game. They are a perfect 7-0 in the playoffs. 6 of those wins are on the road.
Just got done taking 2 wins on the road
From
in
Houston.
And granted, it's not that much of a travel because it's all in Texas. But at the same time, it's very hard to play in Houston.
No, you don't.
Very hard.
You don't walk into Houston and win easily. You just don't. And these weren't blowout games. 2-0, 5-4. Still,
At first, it looked like it was going to be a blowout last night, but then Houston kept chipping away at the score, and I was getting very nervous.
Yeah.
And I didn't end up watching the end of the game, so I asked my roommate. I was like, "Hey, like, did they end up winning?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Thank God, thank God."
I'll tell you this. So Philly and Texas are by far the 2 hottest teams coming into the playoffs. If they both let's say they both. Okay, I'm not saying this will happen. Let's say they both sweep. You're going to have the unstoppable force and the immovable object in terms of momentum.
That's weirdly going to be a very good World Series.
That's going to be a great World Series. These aren't 2 pushover wild cards. These are legitimate teams, man.
And we got Max Scherzer starting tonight against Houston. He's finally back.
He's a big question mark because he could go out there and pitch 7 innings of 1-run ball, or he could go out there and get shelled.
Exactly. He could turn into Clayton Kershaw. What Clayton Kershaw and Spencer Strider ended up looking like in their teams, how many runs did Kershaw give up for the Dodgers?
6
in 1 inning?
Here's what I'll say. This is going to be a Texas crowd that's going to be probably just as fired up as Philly because they're coming back home after winning all those games. Max Scherzer is a guy that will feed off that energy. If I am a betting man, I'm betting that he's going to have a good start as opposed to he's not going to play very well.
I think he will too. I think he's going to have a really good start.
Perform. Christian Javier has been the definition of mid this year. 4.5 ERA. I would pick Texas to win this game 3 if I was a betting man.
It's scary because I also know it's Houston.
Yeah.
And it's a 7-game series. So
True.
it's it's amazing the fact that they were able to take 2 on the road right off the bat.
Yeah.
But I also know they got to win 2 more. It's Houston. They're never going to go away, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I think tonight's going to be really tough for them because if they can win tonight, I think they got it in the bag.
It's 3-0.
If Scherzer,
over.
like you said, if Scherzer can go 7 innings, 1 earned, that's electric.
A lot of people in my baseball club are saying he's going to get shelled. I don't know. I think he's gonna come out and shove. I really think
he's gonna be angry, man. He needs just a little bit to feed him.
Max Scherzer. I saw a funny video. I don't know if I sent you this or not, but it was a clip from 2010. And it was 42-year-old Greg Maddux on the Dodgers was about to face 44-year-old Randy Johnson on the D-backs. But both of them got...
Yeah, you did send me that. I did send you this. Yeah.
They both got scratched for a 20-year-old Clayton Kershaw and a 21-year-old Max Scherzer.
That was crazy. That was so cool.
Imagine being at that game. So, I'm saying Philly in 5 and Texas in 5. For the rest of the series, they just both look too good right now.
I would probably have to agree, but at the same time, everything that I've said about this postseason has been wrong. Well, not as bad as your wild card picks or anything.
Not as bad as the Blue Jays making the...
But, I was convinced that Baltimore was going to make it. I was convinced that the Braves were going to make it and all that, but it's just so hard to argue against how hot each team is right now.
I don't want to be like I told you so, because I did pick the Braves to beat the Phillies, but I was like, I don't think that the Braves will make the World Series just because that pitching's not good enough. It's just not good enough. But we'll see.
It's crazy, like going back to Philly real quick. To me, it's crazy how much, like how Bryce Harper's reputation has shifted so dramatically in the past few years. Like for years and years and years, like I will gladly admit this, I was part of this bandwagon. Like he's the most hated player in baseball.
Yeah.
The most hated player in baseball. And now he has just transitioned to one of the most lovable, most clutch players to ever play the game.
I saw a pretty sad take on Bryce Harper, and they said he's living out Mike Trout's dream.
Literally,
because Mike Trout's a Philly guy who like grew up a Philly, so he's a diehard Eagles fan. And Mike Trout like can't make the playoffs, and they're saying Bryce Harper is like living out his dream.
I
felt really bad when I heard that.
I saw a very similar post on Twitter, and it was basically just like, if Bryce Harper wins this World Series, like, can we start the arguments about who's actually better, Bryce Harper or Mike Trout?
No, Trout's better. I'm sorry. No. To whoever put that out there, no. I don't think
You're not convinced?
No.
Even if Harper wins a ring?
Screw a ring. Okay, rings are a team stat. You can't hold that against Trout. Baseball is the ultimate team sport.
It is.
Because Mike Trout and Bryce Harper take up 1/9 of the batting order. They take up 11% of their at-bats. LeBron can take up 100% of his team's offensive and defensive possessions if he wants to.
I'm not picking a side right now, but I will say, like, you also have to take into account the fact that Bryce Harper has been a major reason for why they are doing so well in the playoff right now.
I looked this up. His ISO is .54. For people that don't know what ISO is, it's slugging minus on base, I think. It's basically like how many extra bases do you average per at bat. A .54 is nuclear numbers. Like that's crazy for people that don't know what ISO is. All right, I say we talk about the college basketball preseason poll.
Okay.
Because I am a big college basketball guy.
I will say I'm not probably going to be able to contribute as much for this one, but I will throw my thoughts in.
No IU on the preseason poll. I think that's a mistake. I think IU is definitely one of the 25 best teams.
But you also have to take into account we just lost 2 first-round draft picks.
But they're getting a guy that will be taking in the top 10 in Mackenzie Mbako. They're getting a 7-foot center from Oregon who here's my thing about Kello Ware. He's either going to be really good or really mid. And there's no in between. Because, basically, Kello Ware was a top 10 recruit last year. And he went to Oregon. And very much underperformed at Oregon. And people are saying he's got no work ethic. He's lazy. He's this. He's that. But he's still uberly talented. He's like, I don't want to be at Oregon anymore. So Mike Woodson goes out and gets this guy the transfer and basically was like, that shit ain't gonna fly here. You are not gonna go out here and not try. Like, you're on my team, you're gonna work your ass off. So I'm hoping that is the case and that he becomes a very good player because of that. So that's why I'm saying he's either gonna be really good or really mid. It's gonna be no in between. And they still have Xavier Johnson, they still have Galloway, they still have a bunch of other people. I think that they are a top 25 team, in my opinion.
I think if we put them at
there are some teams on this
between
list
20
that are
to
not
25.
better than IU.
Yeah, I think if we put them between 20 and 25, I think that would be a safe bet given that we don't know the chemistry of this team right now.
I think, but okay, here is the top 10. Number 1, Kansas. I think that's fine. That's not who I have a very weird team that I'm putting at number 1, and I'll explain why later. I have no problem with Kansas at 1. They return a bunch of people. Duke at 2, sure. I think that's a little overrated, but fine. Purdue at 3. I get why they're that high. I understand that they were a 1 seed and won the Big Ten, and they have everyone back. They didn't lose anyone. Purdue has everyone back. Can't win in the postseason. Like, I don't... Like, okay, I have no problem with them being in the top 5, and they'll probably be a 1 or 2 seed when the year ends, because they're a good team. But...
We beat them twice.
IU beat them twice, and I mean, they're gonna lose. They're gonna get upset in the first round. It doesn't matter where they're ranked. They're gonna lose to whoever they play in the first round.
I did my sports casting class this morning, which is why I'm so dressed up. But we did like highlight readings today, like practice reading on highlights on the air and stuff like that, and we did the IU Purdue game at Assembly Hall. Like that was the game that we did highlights for and everything.
That's the best game I've ever been at.
It was so cool, honestly, just to rewatch it and rewatch all the highlights. Fuck yeah.
Being at that game has been my number one moment in my young IU tenure. That was so much fun to be at that game. Michigan State at 4. I think they're the best team in the Big Ten going into this year. I think they're the best team. Because they have pretty much their whole roster back. A.J. Hoggard, Tyson Walker, Malik Hall. Those are 3 legitimate players. They have the top player from the state of Indiana, Xavier Booker, coming in as a recruit. They have 2 of their 4 stars. They're loaded, dude. They are absolutely loaded. I have no problem with Michigan State there. Marquette at 5. This is a team that was a 2 seed last year. It gets pretty much everyone back. That's a dangerous team. I honestly don't have any problem with them being at 5. That's a legitimate squad. UConn at 6. They did win the national title last year. They did lose some people though. I think 6 is fair. Houston at 7. I think that's fair. They're normally really good. They got LJ Cryer, transfer from Baylor. No problem with Houston where they're at. Creighton at 8. Same thing. No problems there. Tennessee at 9. That might be a little high, but I think they'll be a really good team. Florida Atlantic at 10. This is the team I have at number 1 if I'm making a poll.
What?
And I'll tell you why. This is a team that went 35-3 in the regular season. The regular season, they went 35-3.
Got him number 1.
They made the Final Four, were a buzzer beater away from being in the national. They were a buzzer beater shot away for being in the national title game after a 35-3 season, and they have everyone back. Everyone back. This is going to be a dangerous team. You do not want to play FAU. They're not going to be in the American Conference. They're part of the conference realignment. They're in the American now. I don't think anyone in the American could beat them. I don't think anyone in the American could beat them. They play Illinois and Arizona out of conference. Those will be 2 good games for them. I look at their schedule. Who's beating them? At Memphis, maybe. But like Wichita State, North Texas, Rice, Tulsa, UAB, I think they can go undefeated throughout this year. I truly think they can. They remind me of that Wichita State team that was a 9 seed, made the Final Four, had everyone back, went undefeated and was a 1 seed. That's how good FAU is. That's how good they are.
I disagree with the fact of them being number 1. I don't know if we can put them in number 1.
It's a stretch.
But again, I don't know nearly enough about college basketball as you do. But at the same time, it's just like I don't know if we.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't know.
You don't have to like it.
It does shock me that they are so high up though in the rankings, given how far that they made it into the tournament. I think that they can definitely be closer to the top 5. I think that they can definitely be potentially a top 5 team, given how well that they did last year. You know, like you said, 35-3. So it's like. Yeah, and they made it to the Final Four, so like, why are they not at least in the top 4? So
I thought they were gonna put them like in the 20s. I'm not even kidding. Having them at 10, I think that's fair. I'm not like complaining that they're at 10, because I get it. They're FAU. I understand why you might think some of these teams will be better. I don't have a problem with them being at 10. I'm not like, well, they should be number 1. Like that's just my opinion. Ultimately, the preseason poll really doesn't mean shit. Gonzaga is 11. That's all right. Gonzaga's whole team is transfers this year. Like, their whole team's transfers.
Is it really?
Yeah, pretty much. They have a guy from... who'd they get? They got a guy from Wyoming that played against IU in that play-in game. Like, Wyoming's best player from that team that played. He's on Gonzaga now. They have some other guys I forgot about, but they're really good. Arizona at 12, that's fine. Miami at 13. Miami did make the Final Four last year. They lost a lot from that team, though. I don't know. That might be a little high for them. Arkansas at 14. I think that's fair. A&M at 15. I think that's fair. Kentucky at 16. I think that's all right. San Diego State at 17. They did make the national title game. They lost a lot, though. Ultimately, I think that's okay. Texas at 18. Yeah, I think that's all right. UNC at 19. How are they in the top 25? How are they anywhere near the top 25? Because this is a team that did not even make the tournament last year. And in Hubert Davis's 3 years, this is going to be his third year as the head man. First year, they were an 8 seed and made a fluke run to the national title. Sorry, that was a fluke run to the national title. And then last year, with like the same team, completely shat themselves all year. Oh, they have some cool recruits? Who cares? Like, they should not be anywhere near the top 25. Baylor, I don't know. Because they were kind of mid last year, and they did lose LJ Cryer. I think IU's better than Baylor. I think IU's better than North Carolina. All the teams that I listed before UNC, I think, are better on paper going into this season than IU. UNC, no. Baylor, no. USC, I don't know. They have the number one recruit in the country, Isaiah Collier. I watched this guy in the McDonald's All-American game brick 2 free throws with the game on the line. I'm not saying that he's dog shit or anything, but I don't know how good. Wait, doesn't USC have Bronny James too? Or is that next year?
I think that's next year.
I think that is next year.
Here, let me...
No, it is. He's on their roster for this year. Yeah, he's on their roster for this upcoming year. They got Isaiah Collier and Bronny James.
At UNC?
At USC.
Oh, USC. Okay.
I don't think they're better than IU. Like, oh, you have 2 cool freshmen. Who else do you got? They can't lead your team. Sorry. I don't know. Like, Bronny James is like a decent player, but he wasn't as high rated as some other people. He might be the best pick for the NBA draft, though, because basically LeBron said he's signing for the league minimum for whoever drafts Bronny. So,
well, it's because he's also getting the league maximum.
Yeah. We'll see. USC, I don't think it's better than IU. Villanova, once again, did not even make the tournament last year. But, they have a few good recruits. Like, they don't even have Jay Wright as their coach anymore. I don't understand why Villanova is ranked. I don't think they should be ranked. St. Mary's, this is always a gritty team. A team that will grind out games with their games don't look pretty, but they get the job done.
That's officially become the tagline for this podcast. It's just like, Bloomington Buddy, such a gritty show.
No, but...
You'll never hear any other kind of content with this gritty podcast.
But that is the type of team... You know what you're getting with St. Mary's. You're getting 5 white guys that run a 2-3 zone and play incredible defense. You know what you're getting with St. Mary's every year. I don't have a problem with them being ranked 23. You know what you're getting with St. Mary's. Alabama, I don't know. They don't have Braden Miller, who pretty much led their entire team last year. They lost a lot. I don't think they're better than IU. I don't think that Alabama should be ranked. But they're still going to be a pretty good team. I don't think they should be ranked. Illinois at 25. I think IU's better than Illinois. Illinois still has some good players. Dane Danger, one of my favorite names in all of college basketball. Big Dane Danger fan. They still have Coleman Hawkins. He's one of the more disliked players around the Big Ten. He likes to do a lot of trash talking and not a lot of backing it up. Like, he's a good player, but if he was as good as how much he trash talked, he'd be, like, winning the Naismith Player of the Year. Who else? They still have Terrence Shannon. They're a good team. I don't have a problem with them being ranked. I would probably put IU ahead of them, but 25, I don't think that's too bad. Indiana only got 3 votes to be ranked. That is the same amount as Charleston and Boise State. What are we doing, man? Come on. Other top teams that got votes, Wisconsin, 53 votes. Again, didn't make the tournament last year. Don't know how they're going to turn that all around this year. Colorado at 49. Again, didn't make the tournament last year. I don't know how they got that many votes. St. John's, 47 votes. This team was awful. And now they get Rick Pitino as their head coach. And, they're going to win the Big East now. No, not happening. I don't get all... I'm not buying into the St. John's hype. I'm just not. UCLA, 47. Maryland, 34. Maryland will be sneaky good this year. That's a Maryland team that I think could maybe make a run at like a Big Ten regular season title. That's a good team. Because I watched them play IU last year. They got some good players, and they have a lot of them back. I think Maryland's a really good team. Virginia, 27. Auburn, 27 votes. TCU, 24. Mississippi State, 20. Kansas State, 13. Xavier, 8. Memphis, 7. Missouri, 6. Boise State, 4. Indiana, 3. Charleston, 2. Florida, 2. Drake, 1. New Mexico, 1. All in all, preseason poll really doesn't mean shit. You got to actually go play the games, but I'm kind of...
Ultimately what it comes down to.
Yeah, but I kind of want to get talking about college basketball. Like, I'm eager. I'm really eager. Now, before we talk about college football, I have a little piece of wisdom for you. This partly goes into like preseason rankings and who's better on paper. Basically, this guy was talking about how this hockey team they were using analytics like too much. They were like they were talking about the Blue Jays. They were talking about how the Blue Jays took out Jose Barrios because the analytics said you had to put in a lefty and you say Kikuchi or this. And this guy's like, well, they need to. One of the guys on this podcast was talking about how like, they have to answer to the analytics and this and this and this and this and this. This guy goes, I'll give you a story. The tortoise and the hare. He's like, the analytics were all over the hare in that one. It's almost like that's why you still play the games. Analytics don't mean anything when you play the games.
It seems like a little bit of an extreme exaggeration, but just a little bit.
He's like, the analytics loved the hair in that matchup.
The analytics loved the hair.
The analytics loved the hair. Just remember that whenever you're looking into your big box of numbers like I like to do.
Oh, my God.
Let's talk about college football. Last week...
I think I took a beating this week.
I went 20-6. Which I think is pretty good. I like to 20 wins with 20 wins out of 26. I'll take that as a successful week.
Oh, absolutely.
Jackson with a dreadful 16-10.
Okay, well that's not.
It's a winning record. It's a winning record.
Okay, compared to your record, you were like, 20-6. I'll gladly take that, and then 4 games lower.
That is 4 games that I made up. I now have a 2-game lead sitting at 123-39. Jackson is at 121-41. So, I have a lead.
I'm proud of our score so far, man.
What do you say?
I'm proud of our score so far.
We've been doing well. I think that because I think like 16-10, that's the worst either of us has done, which that's still a winning record by 6 games. So. That's still. I
love that you had to point that out. It's like that's definitely the worst that anybody's ever done so far.
I think I went 18-8 last week, so something like that. I don't know. We do have like 9 minutes, so we're gonna go through some of these games kind of quick. There are some good ones though. All right, quickly. UCF at Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
An undefeated ranked Air Force at Navy.
That's going to be a tough one. Navy is 3-3. Yeah. They have the home field advantage. I'll go with Air Force still.
I'd go with Air Force too. They put a beating on my beloved Wyoming Cowboys. Mississippi State at Arkansas. I have no idea for this one.
I don't know about either of these teams really. Arkansas is dog shit. Wow.
I'm going to actually take Arkansas just because they're at home.
Mississippi State isn't much to write home about either, but I'll take Mississippi State.
Okay. Next, a game that I won't be at, but Rutgers at IU. Man, IU had the lead on Michigan, bro. They had the lead in the first quarter.
For the first
quarter. For the first quarter, they had a lead. I was so excited.
The first quarter.
For people
it was
that-
really funny to go onto Twitter and see so many people freaking out. They're like, "Oh, this is our game. This is our time." And then Michigan scored 21 unanswered points.
They scored 52 unanswered points.
Well, 21 in the second quarter. Then
Well,
right after
so here's
that.
the thing. If you guys don't know, IU's offensive coordinator was fired after the Akron game.
Yep.
And they hired a new one or just put someone in place. His name's Luke Casey or something. I don't know. I remembered his name and then I forgot it. So I had a bye week and then they played Michigan. So they had 2 weeks to prepare for Michigan. And coming out of the gate, they're running the ball on running downs. They're throwing the ball on passing downs. I'm like, holy cow, we have an offensive coordinator that actually knows what he's doing. They drove down the field like effortlessly the first drive and then threw a pick. But I'm like, all right, they are at least moving the ball.
They could have gone up 14-0.
Second drive, they're doing the same thing. They pull out this beauty of a trick play, screen pass behind the line, they throw it deep to Lucas, touchdown. I'm like, holy cow.
It was a bad read by the Michigan safety.
I'm like, extend this man for life. And then they kind of fell apart. Still, though, we might have an offensive coordinator that knows what he's doing.
It's like the moment when you're learning to ride a bike and like you get it for half a second and you're like, yeah, I got it. Then you immediately fall off again.
That's better than immediately falling off. IU's beating Rutgers at home. I'm taking them.
I'm taking Rutgers.
Okay.
IU's bad, man. I don't know if you realize
But is
this.
Rutgers that great, though?
Well, I mean, they're 5-2. They're better than our 2 wins that we have.
But who have they beaten, though?
Who is IU beaten?
I don't know. We'll see. I'm
Answer me that.
I'm somehow going to be watching I'm going to be attending a worse football team, and I'll get to that later. Baylor at Cincinnati quickly.
Cincy.
I'm gonna say Baylor because Cincinnati's been very mid. Washington State at Oregon.
Like Baylor's been much better. Washington at Oregon.
They really have.
Oh, Washington State at Oregon, you said?
Yeah. I'm going to take Oregon.
Oregon.
That was a great game between Washington. That was a great game.
Fantastic. It really could have gone either way. Obviously.
Yeah. Former IU. I got so many messages that were to the amount of what do you feel? How do you feel that a former IU QB is about to win the Heisman? And I'm like, isn't that great?
Give me Oregon.
Quickly, South Carolina at Missouri.
Mizzou.
I gotta take Mizzou. They've been hot. North Texas at a ranked Tulane.
I might just be taking all the ranked ones just because we're at such a close time. Tulane.
I agree. Minnesota at Iowa. This is what's funny. Iowa's offensive coordinator has to go at least 7-5 and average 28 points a game to keep his job. And they're like 6-1, averaging like 19 points a game. So I'm going to take Iowa just because of the defense. The defense is nuclear good.
Give me the Hawks.
Northwestern at Nebraska.
Nebraska.
I agree. I don't have enough confidence in Northwestern to pull the upset.
Northwestern is just such a bad football team.
Oklahoma State at West Virginia. The Oklahoma State actually helped me out because Jackson picked Kansas. I picked Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State helped me out.
God damn, yeah, I forgot about that.
I'm going to take OSU again because they helped me out last week. I'm going to take them again.
I'm going to do West Virginia.
Okay. The game that I will be at, the 4-3 Central Michigan Chippewas are playing the 1-6 Ball State Cardinals.
Wow. Remember when we thought for a second they could beat Georgia?
I am taking Ball State. Chirp, chirp, baby. It's my buddy's birthday, so we're going up there.
Central Michigan.
You're taking Central Michigan?
Yeah.
All right.
1-7 is a bad record.
They're
1-6.
I don't know. I gotta have faith in the team that I'm gonna be rooting for. Texas.
I can't believe they played Georgia.
Texas at Houston.
I'm
going
Texas, yeah.
Texas, they got to get to that rematch with Oklahoma. We'll see if they can get there. UNC, still undefeated, hosts Virginia.
UNC.
I agree. Texas Tech at BYU. BYU got killed in a game when we both picked them. They got murdered by TCU.
Yeah.
Although Texas Tech's not been much better. I'm going to take BYU.
I'll take BYU too.
All right.
We'll give them a second chance.
Ole Miss at Auburn. I don't know why you picked Auburn to beat LSU on the road.
Well, LSU isn't great this year. Ole Miss.
I am going to take Auburn just because they're at home.
Oh my God! You can't say that my pick was bad when you're
picking Auburn at home is never a bad decision.
You can't say my pick was
Picking
bad
Auburn
when
on the
you're
road. Picking Auburn on the road is a bad decision.
When you're
Picking Auburn at
literally-
home is a good decision.
Oh my God!
You're taking Ole Miss?
Yeah, take
All
Ole
right,
Miss.
TCU at Kansas State. This is like a 50-50 game. I don't even know.
TCU.
I'll take Kansas State then. I don't know. That's tough, but you take it. All right, Michigan at Michigan State.
Go blue.
I would say Michigan could keep it close, but they're just not good. They're dreadful this
They don't
year.
have a head coach anymore.
That's a team that I think I use better than. I'm not even kidding. I think I use.
Is that
better
Michigan State?
Yes. Florida State at Duke. Or no, Duke at Florida State.
I thought you meant for a second Michigan, and I was like, did you see the score last week?
No. Duke at Florida State.
It's
Ranked
gonna be a
matchup.
good game, I'd say. Give me Florida State still at home. Yeah.
I agree. I think they can give Florida State some problems, but ultimately FSU's better and they're at home. Army at LSU. I think we're both picking LSU.
Yeah.
Utah at USC. Holy cow, Caleb Williams is the biggest fraud in college football. He was awful. Awful against Notre Dame.
Three interceptions.
In the first half, after everyone was telling me the Bears should pick him. Jesus. Everything I said, I picked USC because I didn't think Notre Dame would be the team to do it. But everything I said about USC that would eventually happen to them happened to them. Frauds. Give me Utah.
I'll take USC still.
I just don't know how USC rebounds from a game like that. So you're taking USC?
Yeah.
Clemson at Miami. Two disappointing teams. I am taking Clemson. I am never picking Miami when they're playing anyone good. Sorry.
Yeah, I might have to take Clemson too. Well, I mean, they got the same record. They're on the road.
I think Clemson's just better.
I'll take Clemson.
Arizona State at Washington. A Washington team that is creeping up near the top 5.
They're in the top 5.
Or yeah, they're in the top 5. I think they'll beat Arizona State. You think they'll beat Arizona State?
Are you being serious right now?
I think Washington beats Arizona State.
Oh! I thought you said you were picking Arizona State.
No.
Oh, okay.
Arizona State's dreadful.
Yeah.
This year.
Give me Washington.
And
Give
then
me Washington.
last before the two big games, UCLA Stanford.
Give me.
Stanford did beat Colorado. I'm taking UCLA though.
Yeah, give me UCLA.
Oh my God, when Travis Hunter had that ball caught on his head and then carried for 10 yards into the end zone, I was like, come on, man. After all that shit y'all talked, you cannot be getting 29-0 leads blown against Stanford. 2 featured games, 2 huge games. First one, the one that I care the most about every year, Tennessee at Alabama. 18 both these teams need a win.
I know who you're picking.
You know, yeah.
I know who you're picking.
Both these teams need a win to keep their hopes for an SEC championship berth alive. Actually, Bama might be able to afford a loss just because the SEC West is not that great.
Well,
Bama doesn't even have any SEC losses.
but they're
yet.
not making the college. They're not making the
playoff. I will say this, Tennessee is going to have to play better than they did last week because they damn near dropped that game to Texas A&M. The defense has looked really good for Tennessee. The offense has to show up. Go Vols. I'm still picking them. I can't.
Picking Tennessee?
I can't pick it. See, everything's telling me to pick Alabama because I don't think Saban will make them lose 2 years in a row to Tennessee. I don't give a shit. I'm taking Tennessee.
For the sake of being different and to keep things interesting.
For the sake of being, you were going to pick Bama anyway. Don't for the sake of being different with me.
I plead the fifth on that one. Yeah, give me Alabama.
All right. The big game. The real big game.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear any, who's going to be second to Michigan talk.
Did you think I was going to do that?
Yes.
I plead the fifth on that one.
Penn State at Ohio State. This is going to be an incredibly good game.
This is going to be a really good game. I don't like either of these teams, but it's going to be a really good game.
I am going with Penn State because they have had weeks to prepare for this. They had a bye week and then they played UMass. That's 2 weeks to prepare solely for Ohio State. And talent-wise, skill-wise, I think they're just as good.
I hate that you picked first because I got to agree with you.
You're also taking?
I'm taking Penn State as well. It's going to be really tough to do it in the shoe, but
I think they can do it. This is a legit
1,000% agree with you. They've had a lot of time to prepare for Ohio State. They just got off their bye week and everything, And yeah, I think overall they're just a much better team.
I think they're better.
Ohio State's O-line has been concerning for them. I mean, their
IU
quarterback
was getting pressure on them, man. IU was like 7-3 at half with Ohio State. I think Penn State's better.
Like, there's just been so many games where Ohio State has just had it a little too close for comfort. Yes, they're still undefeated. Yes, they've still had games where they've completely blown other teams out of the water. But there's been too many games now at this point where it's been like just a little too close for comfort at half, or even coming down to the wire. It's been way too close for comfort. So I got to go with Penn State for this one. They've just blown out every single piece of competition that they've had this year.
Yeah.
And like you said, they've had time to prepare. So I think that they can do it on the road. And it's going to be a huge win for them. Like, this is a big game for both these teams.
Whoever wins, like, they're in the driver's seat with Michigan. Because, Michigan hasn't played anybody this year.
No, say it. Say it.
Michigan hasn't played anyone this year. We'll see.
No, I'm saying you could say it. Say that they're better than Michigan then. Say it.
I don't actually think that though. We'll see.
There you go. Michigan's, you can't walk the walk.
This guy in
you
Michigan,
can't walk the walk, man.
We'll see. Michigan ultimately does still have to play both these teams.
Yep,
so
we do.
We'll see. Thank you guys for watching. I will see y'all next time.